In today's video, let's go over the best settings for the GoPro Hero 11 for FPV. This is going to be based on my personal opinion and personal usage. It can be different for other use case scenarios, but this should work for pretty much everyone. So the first thing is I would set it at 4K in the aspect ratio of 8:7 and 60 frames per second. Thanks to this, we have a nice square footage that we can use for both vertical and horizontal videos. It also makes more space for the gyro flow stabilization in post. And with 4K, we can zoom in a little bit more if we need to. And with 60 frames per second, we can slow down if needed. And with 60 frames per second, the motion can look a little bit more smoother. As for the lens of choice, I use the wide. In this case, you can turn on or off the hyper smooth. It is said it's better to turn it off and not have the crop before you put it into the gyro flow stabilization. But in my case, I've been using it with both on and off, and it seemed to work pretty much the same. For the sake of the video, if you want to stabilize in post and you're gonna use gyro flow or real steady, just turn it off. To get the most out of the quality of this GoPro, turn on the 10-bit recording. You also want to use the high bit rate. Thanks to those two settings, you're gonna have the best possible quality in the video. As for the shutter speed, we're gonna break a rule here because normally for a 60 frames per second footage, I would go for 120 shutter speed. But in this case, I'm gonna go over a little bit more, maybe like 180, 150. The reason for that is the slower the shutter speed or the lower the number, there's more kinds of like vibration blurring going on because we're going so fast. And I've noticed that if I used it in auto setting with the shutter speed, where the shutter speed would be like 1000, there was no problem at all. But you don't have the motion blur. I also started to not use the auto white balance and go for 5500 Kelvin, and if you need anything else, you can just change it in post-production. I also turned the ISO minimum to 100 and 200 for maximum, just in case there's a little bit darker spot while flying. In terms of color, I turned it to flat, and thanks to the 10-bit and flat picture profile in terms of colors, I have the best quality from GoPro for post-production. And last but not least, I turned the sharpness to low. If you need sharpness, you can always edit in post, and that's what I've been doing recently. Those are the best settings, in my opinion, for the GoPro Hero 11 for FPV. With that being said, it is gonna be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.